Do you have something to dab your cheeks with? Just your left cheek, the other side. Yeah, there you go. Good. Alright, so I'm gonna get off arts for a minute.
Okay.
Well, actually, what still image of yours do you think best sums up the year?
Ooh, a still image of mine that I took or that was taken of me?
One of each.
Okay, I know which one that was taken of me. The one that was taken of me, my partner, we were doing one of our little mini walk hikes, and he, the problems with having furry babies, they are everywhere. But my partner, he got this picture of me while we were walking on one of our little nature walk hikes, and it's a picture of me kind of walking past this little, it almost feels like a lagoon, but it's not. It's much smaller. It's not a pond either. It's like a very deep puddle, but it's not a puddle because it goes, it's a body of water. It's a body of water. Rather small, but it's kind of elevated, and so we walk across kind of, I'm not explaining it well at all, but anyway, we'll input the picture, and is me walking by that spot, and it speaks to me for the year. I'm wearing black biker shorts, the ones I'm wearing today. Actually, I wear certain things way too often, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm wearing black biker shorts, I believe my Batman cropped muscle tee type vibe, and a neon green bandana and kind of neon green pink socks. And it's kind of funny because to me that's kind of a mashup of who I've become. Like, I went from being the person that almost predominantly wore black and neutral colors, or black, white, gray, nude, color palette, to now embracing kind of the full spectrum of colors. And so to me, that photo and image just kind of resonates with where and what and who I've come to, kind of mixing all parts of myself and not negating or trying to cut out one over the other. It's kind of a happy marriage of both. And then a picture that I took that sums up the year. A picture from our beach trip. We took a little quick trip to the beach, and it was a mildly overcast day. I think it might have even sprinkled a little bit, but it's just a picture that's out looking at the water. Is that the shore? Is that what you call it? Anyway, the water line, it's kind of just it's a landscape image where you see the kind of cloudy fogginess in the sky. I think there's a seagull in the picture, and you kind of see the layers of the foggy, cloudy, kind of dull bluish gray sky, and then you see the water line, and then you see just the water and the foam coming up, the bubbles coming up on the sand on the beach, and then you see the sand, and it kind of, the photo feels very muted, but it's somehow very soothing and beautiful. And I kind of feel like that encapsulates the sensations of 2020. Like, even though there was so much going on in it, it felt kind of foggy, very dull, almost somber, but then there was still just something so beautiful to it for me, and soothing, and just a stillness to it as well. Next.
Sorry, Robert. Alright. Does any other photographer have a picture that you think best represents the year?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a quick one. We'll pass it. What surprised you most about 2020? Yourself and the year itself?
What surprised me most about 2020? Myself and something else.
And the year itself.
Oh, and the year itself.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised me about the year itself, was just how much of a roller coaster it was. I think out the gate, I don't think anybody could have ever fathomed what it was. And I kind of laugh now looking back at all the memes that everybody was joking about, like how we say, oh yeah, it's 2019 was I'm ready for the new year, 2020 is about to be a movie, but clearly we didn't specify the genre. Yeah, it that definitely took me aback and surprised me. I definitely at the top of 2020, like had somebody told me something like this, like a worldwide event was gonna happen, I'd have just laughed. Like, this is literally movie-based kind of experience. That's what 2020 was, and continued into 2021. Yeah. That took me by surprise. And then something that shocked me about myself in 2020, I think the whole year I just continued to shock myself. Dang it, I finally got that piece of bread. But something that shocked me about myself was how I just kept going, I think. There are so many times that former me, younger me, and not even younger me, but just former me would have definitely just been sputtering, gave up, or just been down for the count. And that did not happen. So I think just my sheer willpower to just keep going is what I was surprised at, and it shocked me about 2020. Just how every time there was something that could have kind of derailed me, I somehow just figured out how to, deep breath, reposition, and keep going. Yeah, definitely the willpower shocked me.
That's beautiful. I've seen it in power. It's been impressive.
Thank you.
It's something of legend, I'll say that. What will you miss about 2020?
What will I miss about 2020? The first thing that pops into my head, I'm going to try not to cry because, I just felt that wave. But something I miss about 2020 is the last minutes that I spent with my very best friend of my childhood. Yes, I lost my very best friend, Magic, last year on September 11th. And I would definitely miss just the quality time we got to spend together. And that's something I definitely have to thank quarantine for. Was it brought me back home from New York to be with my buddy. I miss him dearly every day, even now, and trying not to cry. Feeling all the tingling in my nose. But yeah, I think that's the first thing that I'm definitely gonna miss about 2020 is just those moments. But I'm grateful that he's not in pain, and I'm grateful that he lived a full life. He was 13 or 14, so he'd been rocking with me since about the 4th grade. And yeah, so he lived a long life and been rolling with me through all of my shenanigans. And yeah, I'm gonna miss him. Yeah. And I'm gonna miss the fact that he got to meet Zinni and they got to have some moments together. So it was beautiful. It's beautiful. I think that's all I got for right now. That one just kind of took over everything. But yeah, that's going to be my one for what I miss about 2020.
That's enough. That's a heavy one. I'm sorry. You have to go heavy.
That's all good.
What has to happen in 2021 as a direct result of 2020?
What has to happen? I have to keep growing. Like, as a direct result of 2020, it put me in a position that I just have to keep growing and keep going. Keep learning about myself. Like, it's put me in a position of not being able to turn backward in any way with anything. Like, my self-growth, my health. Like, oh my God, my health. My well-being. Just everything. My creativity. It's just put me in a position where I cannot go back. I just have to keep growing. Yeah.
If you had a time machine, what would you go back and change?
Absolutely nothing.
Hold on, let me finish the question because I know you. I already know you.
I already know you.
Even if it's just for what if's sake, no cheating with I wouldn't blah 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 because blah. Literally is what's written down here.
All right. And even with all the stipulations, nothing. If we've learned nothing from the movies, going back and changing anything at all, always destroys things in the timeline. It tears apart every single fabric of reality and sanity of everything. Listen.
I get it.
Doctor Strange is my best friend. I'm not tearing any timelines or messing up anything. Not I, said the cat.
It was worth a shot.
I'm not going to be responsible for splitting up the multiverse. It's not going to happen.
Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and mind my business. And move on to the next one. Alright, this last one that I have, unless you have anything else that you want to talk about, is hurts and healing. Name one way you were hurt. Name one way you healed.
Hurts and healing, man. I have two. Possibly three, because we like to go in threes, but right now I have two. My first one, I'm going to go back to what I said about magic. It was, for me, the next leg in my growth and understanding of healing and grieving. After having lost my father, had him pass away in 2016, having magic pass on and transition in 2020, it was my next step in healing and understanding that there is peace in that process, that there is love, and that death in this human form is not goodbye forever. Last year, I just definitely became ever present and aware of the fact that magic spirit is still always around and by me, as well as my father's, and being able to sense and know when they're with me and when they're present and when I'm being guided or guarded and protected by them, or even just led and inspired and imbued with their spirit through my creativity. I think that was a big healing. It was healing and what? What's the question?
Hurts and healing.
Hurts and healing, yeah. I think that was a huge hurt and healing point that helped me grow, because I was devastated, I was shattered, but the ceremony and moment that we were able to hold for him was beautiful in our backyard. It was healing, it was peaceful, he was at peace, and he got to go pass on at home, surrounded by love and by family, and that just helped usher me into a place of healing and understanding that as my loved ones go, as anyone goes, there's beauty there, there's healing there, and there's comfort that can be found there, because it's just a stepping off point. And that may sound sort of detached and callous in a moment of severe hurt, but after coming out of that, and even all the way through it, I just felt this uncanny sense of peace and just peace and serenity and knowingness that it is well, it's all good, and that life proceeds, and that it is okay that life proceeds, because that's where I was completely done and distraught when my father passed away. Like, I was outdone that the sun came up the next day and that life continued, and this time, this was definitely a hurt healing point of understanding that the sun was going to come up the next day and the next day, and that that's okay, and that I will continue rising each day, and that I'm never alone, and that they're always right here with me. So that was my first hurt and healing. My second hurt and healing was my transition and understanding that we grow out of relationships. of all sorts, romantic, friendship, familial, and that's okay, and that in every circumstance you can't hold yourself responsible because it's not always your fault or not always just your fault. And I went through turmoil with several different relationships through 2020 and hurts and losses, or what felt like losses at the time. And the healing was in having the time and space in quarantine to get to sit and reflect, take accountability for the parts that I played in the shift and the change in those relationships, and the hurt, but then also being able to acknowledge and be aware of some of the moments and things that had nothing to do with me and that I did not deserve, and that made it a worthy transition and loss and removal of certain relationships, and gave me the space to breathe in that, feel in that, and be aware that as you clear out things that are no longer healthy for you and the other person or people, or are no longer serving either of you, that it's okay to let them go and move on and be happy and heal. And that as you clear that space, more and more of the people, the energies, the spirits that are for you will be able to come to you, because there will not be other people and other things and other energies blocking that out for you. So that was a huge realization for me as well. Like, if it's going, let it go, and trust that what is for you is going to continue to still be held in that space for you, and that it'll be what it's supposed to be. Just know. Like, that's definitely what I got from last year. Just know.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I'm good. I don't have a third. It's just two this time. Those are my two, my hurt and healings for last year.
I kinda wanna...
Peace. It's me, Yolandamarie, Yanni for short, and we have come to the end of this vlog series. This is the end of part 3. I hope you've enjoyed part 1 and 2. So yeah, this is the closing. 2020 was quite the year for me. As I mentioned, it was a roller coaster, but it was beautiful. It was healing. And I'm excited to just continue this journey of getting to know myself, evolving, and just being present. So if you enjoyed this series, give this video a thumbs up. If you would like to see more of the goings-ons and happenings in some parts of my life, subscribe, and go ahead and comment down below. What are you excited about moving forward? What's 2020 looking like for you? What are you excited to have happen? Or just where are you right now? Check in. How are we feeling? But that's all for now. It's me, Yanni, and I'm out. Peace.